question for men who hate feminists and feminism so much. So say you wake up tomorrow and you are a woman and you have to live the rest of your life as a woman. And you live then as a woman in a world where your body and the freedoms of your reproductive rights are constantly debated by old white men. Where your salary was decided by your gender before your talent. You was paid less, just frankly because you are a woman. Where you as a woman are sold, traded, married off, not as a person, but as a transaction. You are seen as breeding cattle. You are excluded from education and certain workplaces for centuries, not because you aren't intelligent, because intelligence in you as a woman is considered a threat to men. Where you could get fired for being pregnant, denied a mortgage without male approval, legally owned and legally raped by your husband. You had to dress differently, walk differently, made yourself smaller, made yourself quieter, not by choice, but because you had to. Because if you didn't, the consequences of not doing so would constantly put your life in danger from men. That was your life as a woman. Wouldn't you want better? Wouldn't you be fucking furious of centuries of oppression? And wouldn't you fight for it to get better and to be better for all the women that have come before you and that will come after you? Because that's all feminism is. A woman deciding that she deserves the basic dignity and human rights that you as a man have never once had to ask for. So being angry at feminists for wanting a better quality of life for themselves isn't masculinity. It's just a man who needs women to feel smaller in order for him to feel bigger. And if you had spent even one single day living inside a woman's life, carrying everything we have to carry, fighting for everything we still have to fight for, just to be treated as a human being, you wouldn't be angry at feminists. You'd fucking be one. A raging one at that.
If you want to shame a man about his sexuality, you might call him an incel, that he can't get any play, that he has a small penis, that he can't find the clit. And oftentimes when I see this said to men, it's in response to their reprehensible behavior and not necessarily their appearance. Whereas when women are shamed about their sexuality, they're called fast, ran through, that they've had sex with a lot of people. And sometimes, if not commonly, this is in response to her simply just being an attractive person or maybe having features that are commonly sexualized against her best wishes, right? And I find that the pinnacle of manhood is embracing your sexuality, whereas the essence of womanhood is concealing it. And I see this a lot in how, in the response to both male and female thirst trappers, as there's an abundance of both, and they could exist in fashion content, fitness content, cooking content, and even so much as, traveling content. They exist 100% for sure. And when you see the response between men and women who just so happen to be attractive doing these things, it is glaring to see. A man making eggs in his underwear in his aesthetic kitchen could get the response that, oh, how do you make those eggs? Oh, you look so handsome. Oh, you look so attractive. But a woman doing the same thing says, you have no respect for yourself. Why are you doing this for men? And a man will make a running vlog with his pecs jiggling in the forefront, and maybe nobody will even make a comment of it. But heaven forbid a woman does the same thing, and it'll just be nasty, lustful, lascivious men in the comment section saying she has no respect for herself or asking her to make an OnlyFans.
This is controversial, but 100% I'm going to say it. If you're a female, go on dates. Rinse 100 dates, even when you don't have the intention of dating someone. I have not had a boyfriend for years, and I'm not going to have a boyfriend for years. However, I go on hundreds of dates. I went on 3 dates just last week. I literally had 2 dates in one day. It's terrible, I know. But hear me out. When you go on dates, you learn so much about yourself. And I have figured that out because I never went on dates apart from a couple years ago. Sorry, I've only just started going on dates pretty much, that's what I'm trying to say. And I have learned so much about myself. I connect with someone on one level, and then the next guy I connect with him on a different level. And then I realize I need both of those to be kind of like in my ideal partner. I would not be happy with one of them and not the other trait, if you know what I mean. I also go out with guys and I'm like, oh, that's a trait that I do not like. And it makes me kind of discover essentially my ideal man. So then when the guy that I'm actually meant to be with arrives, I know exactly how to play it. I know exactly who he is. I know what I'm looking for. But when you have a lack of experience, you don't know what you're looking for. So you kind of just go with the flow or accept shit. So I started rinsing dates, and it's the best thing ever. You get to do fun shit. Do not go on a fucking coffee date. Go do something fun. Go on a jet ski. Literally do anything fun. It doesn't really matter. But yeah, low-key, you kind of get a free meal out of it as well. Always offer to pay. Always offer to pay, girls. Be generous, But you end up getting a free meal. You end up having a good fucking laugh. You end up sometimes even just having a friend out of it. But rinse the dates. Rinse them.
When you see a really hot guy and they're staring at you and you're staring at them and clearly you fancy one another, but you can't get their number because the situation is just a bit awkward, because you might be on the middle of the street, or you might be on a bus, or you might be in a coffee shop, and going up and asking for their number is just a bit awkward. This happened to me last week. I saw this guy at a pub. He was staring at me, I was staring at him. Really, really fancied one another, but he was in a big group of people talking to them, and I was with my friend, and we couldn't really go up to one another. And then he ended up leaving, and forever since that moment, I have been so sad that I don't have his details, I don't have his social media, I don't have his number, I don't even know his fucking name. But I just wish there was a way that we could get these people's details, because I feel like there's so many missed opportunities from hot people, from people that we clearly fancy and they fancy us, but the situation is always just so awkward that we can't ever go up to them. But I just wish there was a way that we could solve that problem.
She genuinely believes that pointing out historical inequalities from centuries ago explains why modern men are frustrated with the current dating and legal landscape. Men don't look back at the 19th century with nostalgic envy. They look at the year 2026 and see a system where the risk profile for marriage is completely asymmetrical, where false accusations carry zero legal penalties, and where average male struggles are met with institutional indifference. If a woman has to reach back generations to find a grievance just to shame men into compliance today, she's merely proving that she doesn't want equality. She wants a permanent moral blank check to avoid accountability in the present.
And I'm tired of it.
Look at the false equivalency she's setting up between male and female thirst traps. Men and women are wired fundamentally differently. A man's value isn't instantly quantified by his physical exposure, but a woman's sexual availability is the most highly valued and easily commodified asset in human history. When a woman leverages that asset for cheap digital attention or cold hard cash, she isn't embracing her sexuality, she's trading her long-term respect for short-term validation. You cannot demand to be treated like a high-value, respectable woman while simultaneously marketing yourself like a public utility. Men aren't trying to control women by judging these patterns. Men are simply using their natural filtering systems to separate the women who value their own intimacy from the ones who put it on display for the highest bidder.
She's a whore.
This girl is openly admitting to treating men like complimentary theme park rides, and she's framing this massive exercise in manipulation as a form of self-discovery. She is explicitly telling women to go on hundreds of dates with zero intention of ever committing, using men's time, energy and bank accounts to build a customized mental avatar of her ideal partner. When you spend years treating human connection like a transactional consumer report, filtering through hundreds of men while offering nothing but a fake offer to split the bill, you don't become wiser, you become incredibly jaded.
It's so useless!
She claims the situation was just so awkward because he was with a group and she was with a friend. What she really means is that she was too terrified of vulnerability to cross the room, smile, and say hello. Instead, she sat there deploying the classic female strategy of aggressive eye contact, expecting the man to perform all the emotional heavy lifting, break away from his friends, risk public rejection, and figure out a perfect approach script just because she threw a few glances his way. Then she tries to normalize her passivity by framing it as a universal problem of situational awkwardness. If you're going to let a simple, old-school opportunity pass you by because you're too proud or too scared to move your feet, don't blame the universe for a missed connection. Blame your own choice to stay seated.
Well, it's her own fault.
Real men of genius.